Again, thank you. Congratulations to everyone that's here, and I'll give it back to you, Brianna.
Thank you so much, Eileen. So as you know, you came to essentially being a small business owner. Bookkeeping is often seen as one of the necessary evils that we must face. This is why we must go over the common bookkeeping mistakes and learn how to avoid them. Today, we have an expert to talk about this. I would like to introduce Sherry Pierce. And she is the CEO of SDP Communications, correct? Yes. And she's also the president of the Madoc District Chamber of Commerce as well. Welcome, Sherry. I'm just going to click this here for you. There we go. Just a little bit slow there.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Sherry Pierce. I'm the owner of SDP Communications, and we're a very diversified business that specializes in bookkeeping as well as business documentation, along with social media management and web development and many more items that we help service small business owners. Today, Brianna's rules. I would like everyone to unmute. I like to run workshops that are interactive where we can all communicate and talk with each other. Okay. Bookkeeping is a very dry subject. 99% of business owners absolutely hate bookkeeping and they don't like talking about it. They don't like doing it, but it is a necessary evil, as Brianna was saying, that we all need to understand our financial health. So bookkeeping is very key. As a business owner, you need to know where you're at on a daily basis and what you're doing. So what I would like to ask, if everyone could take a moment and tell me the industries that you're in. I heard that there was a couple of bookkeepers on here. I heard someone that is a home-based business, if I'm correct.
Yes, Dale here. I am a home-based business person.
Great. And it was Cassandra?
Ada.
Okay. And
Foods.
food?
Yes.
Food industry?
Yes.
Okay, so great. So we have a good diversified group here, which is nice. One of the things I would like to, there's a few things I would like to talk about, and I will have Brianna, I came prepared with some documentation, and I will have her email the file to you later today so that you have a copy of it. So basically, we're bookkeeping mistakes. I would like to ask you, what do you think is your number one mistake that you're making in your bookkeeping? They would like to start.
This is Dale. My biggest one is I don't do it regularly.
Okay, that's a number one occurring problem for all business owners. Okay.
What was the question?
Yeah, that's okay.
What was the question?
What was the question she said?
What is your what do you feel is your number one problem with mistakes in doing your own bookkeeping?
I just don't get it.
You don't get it? You don't get to it, or you just don't understand it?
I don't understand it.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. For the bookkeepers or the ladies, or gentlemen that are doing bookkeeping now, I heard someone say that they're doing income tax. Okay. Most bookkeepers usually do income tax for people. I've never heard of someone just doing income tax and then turning into a bookkeeper, but that's something new. Maybe I missed something along the line, but good for you for taking on the challenge. So I guess I'm going to start at the beginning. For those who don't understand bookkeeping, bookkeeping is it's basic math, really and truly. It's just understanding your debits and your credits and where they fall into place, and getting a hang of it. Now, there's many ways that you can learn bookkeeping, and that's spending some time doing a bookkeeping course at the local college level. or even just hiring a bookkeeper to sit down with and have them go through you step by step and showing you some tips on how to do it. And it also depends if you want to do it on what software base that you want to do it, or if you want to do it manually. Okay. Well, we have another guest. Welcome.
Can I get your name, Christine?
Hi, Christine. I'm Sherry. Welcome. So where I'm going to start in this jungle of bookkeeping information is I want to start on the income side. Okay. So when you're recording your income, a lot of business owners actually make the mistake of having way too many income categories. Okay.
I'm not hearing anything. Is there someone talking?
I'm not hearing anything on my end either. And the speaker is no longer on the screen.
Yeah, same here. I think they have dropped the call or something.
Fine.
It might be it may have been an oops when they tried to add the other person who was coming in.
Mhm. Well, they're still plugged in.
We're all together, so yes.
Yeah, they're still plugged in as a host, but the co-host and the speaker are gone.
So I'm just trying to figure it out here. I'm gonna sign off on the other computer and then sign back on and see if we can get this figured out. So just guys, if you don't mind giving me one moment, I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is a good time of year to do this topic, though. I keep getting real nervous. It's almost December.
Almost December.
I know we've got another whole 4 weeks before December, but I don't have my paperwork started well.
We actually decided to use the computerized one of those bookkeeping things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like she was saying about choosing between doing it manually or by software.
Here we
Yeah.
go. Can you guys hear us now?
Yay.
We hear you.
Yay! Okay, perfect.
That's a bag of dance head.
She must have her monitor, her. Okay, I just heard one of you speaking, I think it was it Cass?
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about manual or software? Okay, so a lot of businesses now use like QuickBooks. Okay, there's Simply Accounting, there's Sage Accounting, which are now combined together. There's Wave Accounting, okay, software that's available. So there's many different forms of software they can use. There's also Excel. And I'm going to talk about Excel later on and in discussion here. Now, going back to the income side, if you have too many categories, it can get really mumbo jumbo, and then you're going to be going, well, it's too hard to decipher. Like, do I really need that many categories if I only selling one product or two products? Okay. For the food industry, for an example, you probably have 5 different areas of food: dairy, your basic groceries, maybe household items, things like that, where you can break it down into categories so you can see what the income is for each category in those areas. Now, for home-based businesses, you're basically selling only one product usually, unless you have 2 different products going or 2 different services. If you're a professional service like myself, you want to break those down, but breaking them, I can give you an example. What happened was I had a client that had 14 different income accounts, but she only sold 3 products. So she didn't really need 14. And Revenue Canada came along and did an audit, and she ended up in more trouble than what she even planned on happened. And it just kind of makes you take a step back, because they take a look, and when they audit your books and they go, okay, well, where's all this extra? You have 14 categories of income. So where's all the receipts where's all the sales slips for all these 14 categories? So what she was trying to do was she was trying to subdivide all the categories, and it actually kind of blew up in her face. And you don't want to do that. Okay. The next thing too, on your invoicing, when you're preparing an invoice, when you're laying it out, your HST number needs to be on your invoice. Okay. There are some businesses that don't charge HST because they haven't reached that $30,000 mark yet. And that's okay. But for the ones that do submit HST, you need to have the HST number on your invoices. Okay, it shows that you're a registered business. It shows your viability. Okay. The other thing is that I find with when you're invoicing is a lot of businesses make the mistake of charging the wrong tax. Okay. If you are a professional based business like myself, I have clients all over the world, so I have to watch the tax systems for every province and territory in Canada, and then every state in the US, as well as international, where we deal with VAT. So you need to watch if you're a business service and you're working from home, you need to, or even out in the retail downtown areas, you need to actually really watch your tax categories. What I have found is I keep a chart of all the tax percentages for every province and territory across Canada, and right on my desk so that I know and I don't miss it. A lot of people here in Ontario, small businesses in Ontario, if they are dealing with a customer out in Calgary where they only charge GST, that's their only sales tax, but you're charging them HST on here, you've done it wrong. You actually got to apply the GST that they get charged for. Okay. So that's a really good example there. You really got to look at the tax systems in each of the provinces and keep track of that. And I think the bookkeepers here will agree with me on that, that's a very big mistake that a lot of business owners make, is they don't charge the right taxes going out of province. And so that is something to really look at. Now, on the expense side, on your expenses, categorization, you can actually over categorize your expenses to the point where you've got way too many accounts. So I would like to ask this: if you were to think about your own bookkeeping right at this moment, how many categories do you have going for your expenses? Got your bank charges right down to professional fees, rent, telephone. So how many of those expense accounts do you have going?
I only have on the actual financial 21-25 or 25-21 sheet on the tax return.
Right, yeah. Okay, so you follow the tax return expenses, okay. Does anyone here use QuickBooks to do their bookkeeping?
I do.
And that's Dale?
No, that's Singita.
Okay. And so when you're doing your bookkeeping, how many expense accounts do you record to?
Oh, I have probably, actually, I am in my QuickBooks right now. If I go to my chart of accounts.
And that's it. That's because she knows where to go to a chart of accounts, because they will tell you. Because every time you actually put in an expense, if you don't know where to put it, what are you going to do? You're going to create a new expense account.
Yeah. No, I
Yes.
have about 20 of them.
Okay, that's pretty normal. That's about your normal number. Okay, anything over 20, you better be a big business.
It's Dale here.
Yes,
And I probably have, I don't have that book in front of me. I do have a physical book that I use.
okay,
I would guess I have 10 to 15 columns that I put my numbers into. I put everything into one bank account and take it all out of one bank account.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's the way it should be done.
We have a question in here.
Okay.
On the chat. So if the service is provided in or from Ontario and client lives in Alberta, we charge only GST and not HST?
That's correct.
There you go.
Yep, that's correct. Okay, does that is there any more questions about the taxes?
Yes, I have it. It's Singita again. That's the question I asked. So if we have international clients, we don't charge them any tax. Let's say if the client is in US.
You have to, depending on where they are in the US, some states require you to have a VAT, which is an international form for income tax. And so you need to research out the taxes for the state that that client is in.
Okay, but could we also put it as zero rated?
You can, but at the end of the year, you're still gonna have to fill out a VAT to go with your income tax.
And VAT is filed in US, in states, I mean?
Yeah, states and international through Europe and Australia, England.
Okay, I've never heard of that actually.
Yeah, a lot, see, that's a lot of I'm gonna use the words Canadians here as Canadians. There's a lot that people that don't recognize that. They don't realize it until what happens is if your client gets audited on their end from their government, then they send the information here to the Canadian government and ask for documentation on the Canadian side, which then the government will come back and audit your books.
Okay.
And look for that information. So you're better off to be prepared and have that list of taxes and information at your side. You know, I have a book, it's in a book, I got all the Canadians, all the Americans, all the states, everything that I need, because I have clients worldwide. So I need to have that information at my tips. And if you're dealing with clients internationally, you should have that as well at your tip.
And what is that book called?
It's a book that I created on my own.
Okay, okay.
Maybe I should sell the book.
That's a good way to make some
Change.
Yes, I would be glad to share my book with you if you like. I don't have a problem with that. I can.
Yes, please. I
updated it.
love that. Yeah.
Okay, Marina, can you make a note for me so that I don't forget and then do
Yes.
it? And if anybody else
how
wants it,
How about this? I'll have them reach out. Everyone will have your contact information. So they can reach out to you if they need anything or if they require your
Perfect.
services, whichever. So we'll leave it up to them for them to reach out to you. Okay. Sound
Okay,
good?
that sounds good.
So once somebody collects the tax that's applicable to that particular state or province, how do they submit it?
Through their own tax reporting system. Just like how we would resubmit ours.
Well, when we collect GST and HST, we have to send Canadian money. We
Yeah.
Send them.
Yeah.
So. That would so that happens at like the end of the year when they,
However, they do their tax reportings, like here in Canada,
Okay.
we do our HST either monthly, quarterly, or annually. It all depends on how you've set up your business, okay? That's the same over in Europe as well as.
okay.
In the States as well. The IRS are monthly, they don't do annually, they like the monthly.
Okay,
So,
I'm just curious.
yeah, every country is different. That's just part of spending time and knowing. And so now the categorizations when
Sorry, I have one more question in regards to this because this topic is so confusing for me. So if somebody is coming down from States and attending a seminar or whatever, they pay HST on food or whatever, gas, you know what I mean?
Yes,
So why is it wrong for us Ontarians to charge them HST?
it's not wrong. I think maybe, so you're having people come into the country to your business location.
Yeah, so for example, I have another business where we sell tickets to live events. We do co-authoring books, right? So all the service is being provided in Ontario.
Okay,
So they're buying a service from Ontario. They are not like, it's not like the final product is getting to them. You know what I mean? Like they're paying for a service.
right. But are they physically coming into the country themselves as a person to come and pay for the bill?
No, they're not. They're paying online.
They're paying online. Okay, that's I have clients in the States and I charge them accordingly to their tax state, to their tax laws, to their state laws, okay? Do we send that in request? Do we apply that to our HST reports? No, we don't, okay? That's where there's a special paper called a VAT that you would fill out for the end of the year to show that you did charge to another state their state taxes. Okay, it is a little bit confusing. I can actually spend some time with you one-on-one and show you how that is done.
Okay, that will be great.
Okay, so feel free to reach out to me and we can schedule an appointment.
Okay.
You can actually go right on my website. There's a spot right there with my calendar where you can actually book an appointment right away with me, and we can do it by video or I can come visit you either way.
Okay, what is the website?
It's sdpcommunications.ca. So the letter S, the letter D, the letter P, the word communications with the letter S on the end, .ca.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the overcategorization of expenses can actually get you into more trouble as well. You don't want to have subcategories. Now, the other thing is if you're using software like QuickBooks, where they have the option where you can do a mobile picture of your receipts into your QuickBooks software. So basically uploading your receipts through your phone, and it goes into your QuickBooks software. Great little feature, but 99% of the time what it does is it puts it into a category as uncategorized because they don't know where to put them in your software. Okay, so what happens is when you use that mobile app to upload your receipts that you have, like your fuel receipts or a meals and entertainment receipt, whatever it may be, it takes it and it doesn't know where to put it. So it's kind of just sitting in the clouds in a way, and it puts it in this categorized category. And 99% of the business owners forget about that. Oh, I've uploaded, it's already in there. What happens is when your accountant takes a look at your software and he goes, what is all this and this categorized? And then you have to spend time going through your receipts and trying to help him understand where things need to go. So if you do that feature now, what I would suggest to do is go through and that categorize. category and start moving those receipts out and putting them into the proper categories. Because if you don't, the accountant's going to charge you to do it. And that usually increases your bill for your year-end accounting, okay? So that's kind of really important as well. You want to keep your categories for your expenses to just what you need for your expenses. The odd time you might have something slip in, that's something like maybe you want to go to a trade show that you don't want to put under marketing and advertising. You might turn around, put it in what we call a miscellaneous expense, and there's nothing wrong with that. Those are just those one-time expenses that come in and that you have. So the next thing is, you know, with expenses, keeping track of what needs to be reimbursed. Okay, a lot of business owners don't pay their expenses back. So if you use a credit card to pay all your expenses, that credit card is basically in your personal name. Most business owners don't have them. Small business owners, especially home-based business owners, don't have the credit cards in the business name. And when that happens, you're putting all your business expenses on this credit card. You need to pay that credit card off, but you also need to classify that as a personal expense, okay? And make sure you write yourself a check out of your business account and then pay your credit card from that money. A lot of business owners actually just take the money out of their business account and pay it that way, but you need to take it back because that credit card's in your personal name. So you need to write yourself that check to your personal name and then pay the bill at that point. And a lot of business owners don't do that. They just take it directly right out of their business account, which then the accountant comes back and says, well, you're paying for everything on here, but what's personal? So what they do is they pay the whole credit card bill out. They don't really separate out the business expense from the personal expenses. And that becomes a challenging, and the accountants then find that, okay, they try to explain it to business owners, but some business owners get it, some don't. It's just how they deal with their bookkeeping and their accounting. But if I can say anything that is a big thing, you want to make sure that you separate them out. Keep your business separate from your personal. And that is the biggest thing with credit cards. If you're doing payments, anything with the business, keep it separate from your personal.
Same with bank accounts.
Same with bank accounts, yes. You want to definitely keep your business account separate from your personal account. And that for most definitely. Now, one of the other things that a lot of small business owners don't do you pay yourself? Do you pay yourself?
I heard they don't.
No.
But I'm asking, do
I
you?
haven't started it yet.
Okay. Dale, do you pay yourself?
This is where
Unmute. Not so much as taking a draw, but I do take the money out of my bank account and use it for personal bills and so on.
Right, okay, I see, we have a new lady, Ashley, online.
Hi there.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. So it's my husband and I who have this business, and so he is paid through payroll, but I do not pay myself to do the sort of admin side of things.
Well, I'm going to tell you all right now, the golden rule in business, as a small business owner or a large business owner, any business owner, you must pay yourself first and foremost. If you know, for an example, I'm going to give you an example. When I first started out in business 25 years ago, I paid myself $1,000 a month. That was it. Wrote a check at the end of every month on the last day of the month, and that was it. That was my living. And as I grew the business, I increased it. Okay. To this day, I still only pay myself $2,000 a month. Okay. But I pay myself because if you don't, you're gonna start making draws out of your account. The odd one is okay, but you're drawing out for your own living expenses, okay? If you want your business to grow and you need capital to get federal grants, because anytime you need a federal, or you want to write for a federal grant, you have to show capital. And how are you going to show capital if you don't have the money in your account? Okay, so that's very important to understand, that you need to pay yourself first and foremost. And then the balance of the money goes into to pay your business expenses. Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
So I am a sole proprietor. So I do not pay myself. I just kind of write the expenses out, and whatever is left is mine at the end of the day.
And so how do you keep money for a rainy day for your business?
I have another corporation where I take salary from.
Right, okay. You can still, as a sole proprietor, still take a small, even if you pay yourself $100 a month, take something, okay, for your time. And
Okay.
to show your time. Because what happens is when you go to file your income tax as a sole proprietor, you need to claim some sort of an income for yourself out of your business.
Right. So that's the net income that I put in.
Right. Now, with that being said, as sole proprietors, many of them don't pay their CPP. Don't pay into CPP. They forget about that. And you need to pay into your CPP if you want to collect it, because what happens with Revenue Canada, they only look at the last 5 years of your working years to take an average of your CPP payments. And I found that out the hard way with my mom and my dad when they went to go to apply for theirs. My dad didn't pay into his CPP for the last 15 years of his life that he was working. And he only got like $200 or $300 a month. But yet my mom, who worked her butt off for the last 5 years, she got full benefits. And to the max that you can get for CPP when you start collecting. So you need to really pay into those. And the only way you can pay into those is to take money out, pay yourself, even if you put it aside into a savings account and keep it there to pay into your CPP. And that's another one, that's one of the biggest mistakes that most business owners make, is they don't look after their own CPP. Okay. They forget about it. And if you have a really good accountant, they should be catching on to that right away and putting that into the documentations. And even the people who are doing your income tax should be catching that and asking those questions. I know I ask my clients when they come to me for income tax, how much let's take a look at your CPP. What are we putting in this year? And, it's one of those biggest things that do get really missed and when you're doing your own bookkeeping and that. So it's just something food for thought to keep in mind. Okay, I've kind of got a little off track.
We do have a few questions here sitting in the chat.
Okay.
Kind of go back to the how you're mentioning about the credit card portion.
Okay.
If I don't use checks, should I track with my e-transfers?
Yes, by all means, yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
And then I see that it will be important if I want to purchase a vehicle, back to the point that we're talking about now, of CPP, I see the importance. If I want to purchase a vehicle for my business, for business use, and she also said, me too, that income on the tax forms, I pay CPP still.
Yeah. Yeah. Some business owners will continue to pay CPP. They've been educated, or, their accountants have spoken to them about it, but there's a lot of small business owners that don't. They totally forget about it.
So you submit it just like you would, a payroll.
Yes, yes.
So you just do an actual.
Yeah, you can do it right on your year-end income tax. When you do your year-end books, okay? And it goes right into your income tax. The government will send you a little invoice in the mail or by email or on your My Service account, or whatever they call it now. And just to gently remind you that you need to pay it, and you just send the money into them and they apply it to your CPP account.
Where does the reporting go? Let's say from my sole proprietorship, if I am taking $1,000 every month, where does that get reported?
It gets reported as income for wages. So it goes into it, so it's an income for you, but it goes into your expense category for wages.
Oh,
Okay, because you are paying yourself, so that's an expense that's coming out of your bank. So
mhm.
that gets recorded under wages and salaries.
I thought you cannot pay yourself if you're a sole proprietor. Pretty much whatever is left in the end is your income.
Some people say that, and a lot of other people say no, and I'm one of the ones that say, no, you need to pay yourself. Okay, because you need to keep money in your business account in order to pay all your business expenses that come up. Okay.
So where does the income gets reported? Like, I understand it's an expense, right?
The
But
income is on your end, so whatever you do, like for an example, when I was a sole proprietor before I came a corporation, I used to pay myself that $1,000 a month. I got recorded under expenses for wages and salary.
mhm.
And then what I did with it is at the end of the year, I kind of made up myself my own T4 slip.
Oh, so you did T4 slip for yourself.
Yes, I did, because what I also did is I set myself up for a payroll deduction account with Revenue Canada to take off my CPP and my EI and all that. So I paid into all that.
Okay.
Okay, there's many ways of doing it, and it depends on how you want to do it as a business owner, where you are in your business cycle, if you're just starting up or if you're like 5 years in. Wherever you are, and it depends on your income, like what you're bringing in annually yourself, your business.
I
Okay?
find it very strange because I was never taught this in all my tax courses. And I've taken numerous tax courses where they say that as a sole proprietor, whatever is left in the end for you.
Yeah, I can, in my tax courses, yes, that's true. But if you're looking to grow your business, why not start taking your salary now, paying yourself now instead of waiting until later? Okay,
No, it all makes sense in the end, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying that it's kind of weird to me because I've been doing this for 20 years and I didn't know about this.
yeah,
You're also training your business to have essentially an export of dollars. So when you do grow, your
Mhm.
business is already used to you taking a portion.
yeah,
So you're
Mhm.
training your business.
and you're training yourself,
Exactly.
yeah,
So you'd
Okay.
be reporting on T4 from employment as well as your business for self.
yeah,
Makes sense.
it does. Yeah, because you have to have record of your own personal income. Yes, you're doing your taxes for your business, and then you got to do yourself for your personal
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You need to leave that other money there for the business and then you
Yeah.
take your bit.
Yeah, you need to pay yourself.
Mhm.
You work hard. Why not? Why can't you pay yourself? You're putting in all the hours and you're doing all the hard work. You gotta pay yourself. Okay, that's the number one rule of business. And that's what was taught to me 30 years ago, that you need to, pay yourself.
Do you recommend doing CPP even though you're collecting it, like, cause I'm over 65, so I'm already getting it.
No, you don't. If you're already getting it, you don't do that. You would actually probably have to talk to your accountant about that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna guide you that way. Go
Okay.
see your accountant. Okay,
Yeah, I don't think it Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think it helps, but.
Okay, how many of yous here actually have like subcontractors work for you?
No.
Okay, one.
I have only just begun, it's Dale. I have begun to have one other interpreter that is subcontracted to me.
Okay, okay, so one of the other things that a lot of small business owners. I hate to use the word failing to I hate this term, to be honest with you. Failing to properly classify employees, okay? So basically, most companies don't intentionally misclassify employees. They simply make the mistake when determining if a worker should be an employee or an independent contractor, okay? Now, with that being said, an independent contractor, you're just paying their invoice. They should be invoicing you, okay? And then you paying them out. Whereas an employee, you're gonna be putting them on a payroll expense, okay? Now, if you have an employee that's, that you call as an employee, but you're only paying them like a subcontractor, that's where it gets messy, okay? Because at the end of the year, that who you call an employee might be looking for their T4 stuff, and they're not gonna get one. What do
I
you do
do
about-
have that one person, Dale again. I do have that one person submitting an invoice to me, and I still consider her a subcontractor. She considers that she has her own independent business.
That's great, and that's the way it needs to be, okay? Because that's a business expense that you get to write off, and because you get to write off that HST from that invoice, okay? And that's the way it needs to be done. A lot of some business owners will just have someone come in and work and just pay them like a subcontractor, and you just can't do that. You know, with a lump salary. So say if you want to pay somebody, say $700 every 2 weeks as a flat rate, but no payroll deductions, that is actually a subcontractor or an independent contractor. That's how it has to be classified, and they should be submitting you the invoice. And whereas you should not be doing a payroll classification at all. So you want to make sure that if you're bringing on a contractor or someone else to work with you, you need to make sure if you're going to define them as an employee and pay payroll deductions to Revenue Canada, or if they're going to be an independent contractor where they submit the invoice to you and then you pay them from there. Okay, so hopefully that makes some sense. You don't want to mix those two up. Some small businesses will do that, and we'll just hire someone and then pay them like they were an employee rather than receiving an invoice from them as a contractor. Okay.
And someone here has raised their hands. Ms. Vida?
Yes. So back to the question of paying yourself. I wrote it in the chat, but I have another question to follow that. So I'll just ask both of them. Are there rules or guidelines as to how much you pay yourself from your business?
It's what you want, what you think you can afford, because as the owner, you know what your income is every month. Okay.
Yeah.
So some months might be, say, some months might be 10,000, some months might be 15,000. Or it might be only 5,000. It all depends. And so you have to decide, okay, how much money do I need to for my business expenses monthly? Okay, so that's your operating expenses. And then most business owners start out small. But you're still paying yourself, okay? It all depends on your income and what you have left after you've paid your expenses and what you can afford to pay yourself. Okay, sometimes you can say 20% of your income. Okay, that leaves 80% to pay your bills. Okay.
Is it better to pay yourself bi-weekly or monthly, or is there also a rule about that?
No, there's no rules. You're the business owner. You're creating the rules for your business and how you want to pay yourself.
Okay.
So if you want to pay yourself bi-weekly, you certainly can. Or monthly. Now you can write yourself a check, or you can do an e-transfer into your personal account, okay? As long as there's a record that you've done something that has shown that you've paid yourself, okay?
Okay.
And then,
Mhm.
go ahead.
Were you done?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. In terms of the stability of what you pay. So I may decide this month that, you know, I can afford to pay myself $1,000, but next month I look at my income, my intake, and I'm thinking, I can pay myself $1,500 next month. Is that permissible, or do we just keep a level, you know, a level trend? Can we decide to raise, decrease, you know, at some point? It sounds a little confusing, but
No, it's
is
not.
that permitted?
You have control as a business owner of what you want to pay yourself, really and truly. For myself, I set the bar at $1,000 a month for the first year. So I allowed to have some money, some capital in the account so I could grow my business. Okay. With that being said, the second year I increased it to 1,200. Okay, it's up to you. If you feel that you need that extra money the next month and you have it in there, take it. It's up to you. Okay, every business owner operates their business in a different way. And I can't tell you as a business owner, where you want to, what months you want to draw more, or which months you don't want to draw more, but that's totally up to you. I kept it at an even keel because it was my way of growing my business and being able to have extra money to pay for advertising to get the word out about who I was and what I can do. So that's how I did that. Okay. I see that there's another hand now.
Oh, no, it's.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, still staying with expenses, I would like to talk about receipts. If you don't, you need to save all your receipts pertaining to your business. Even if they're under $50, $75, or they're only $2 or $3, you need to save them. If you gone to the dollar store and you picked up a couple office supplies and it's only $5, keep the receipt, because you can still use the HST on it too when you're filing your HST reports, okay? Neglecting to save them is like throwing money away, really and truly, okay? Because if you're doing HST reporting, every little penny helps to bring down the amount of money that you might end up owing at the end of the month, or at the end of the quarter, or the end of the year. Okay, so it's very important to keep every single receipt. I don't even care if you've even just spent $1 at the dollar store. Okay, you need to keep that receipt, especially if it applies to the business. Okay, now if you don't have a paper backup of receipts, so for an example, let's say that you purchase something from online for your business, and you know, when we go through Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace, it's basically a cash transaction or an e-transfer. Okay, if you can do it by an e-transfer, then you have a paper trail. Then you can write it off on your business. Okay, but if you're going to go do a cash transaction, and let's say for an example, you bought a used copier and it was $100. Okay, what you can do is just ask the person, write out on a blank piece of paper yourself that today's date, I have purchased a used copier, make, model, okay, if you know the year of it, for the amount of $100. Okay, and ask them if it's okay, the person that you're purchasing it from, if you can put their name on this piece of paper. They don't have to sign it, but if you can apply a name and an address to it, then that is proof that you can use that as an expense at that point in time to apply to your bookkeeping. You can't extract any HST out of it. Okay, there's gonna be no taxes there, but it's just a straight cash transaction. And that's how you can deal with those if you're purchasing anything on through Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji or anything like that. You have no paper, write something down so you have something, at least have some form of record of it. Okay. One of the biggest things, fuel receipts. I'm laughing at this one because everybody thinks it doesn't matter which day of the week that you get fuel for your business, that it's accepted. Revenue Canada says absolutely not, Monday to Friday. Those are your business days, okay?
What if your business hours is?
On a Saturday, yes.
Mine are mostly Saturday and Sunday, like.
Okay, as long as you can prove that your business is operating on a weekend and you can show on the fuel receipts.
I was gonna say, if there's the business, like the business operating hours.
Operating hours, or if you've gone to, for an example, like I did this past weekend, I was at a trade show up at the International Center. That was business related. So what I do, I mark on the back of the fuel receipts where I was, what the date, why. Okay, I was up there helping clients. So, but most part is, if you ever get audited, a lot of people just submit their fuel receipts to us bookkeepers and we process them. But the reality is, if you ever get audited, Revenue Canada really takes a hard look at fuel receipts, because that's where they get you for the HST and they'll bounce it back. So, and I learned that the hard way myself when I went through an HST audit.
Well, what do you mean about HST audit? That's only if you're writing off the HST, right? Because
That's
I
right.
don't do that. I've
Yeah.
never done, well, that's because I don't have.
Yeah.
We do have a couple questions in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do by kilometers.
Yeah, some people do it by kilometers, some
Yeah.
people submit their fuel receipts.
Yeah, well, I mean, I keep all of my receipts and just do it per kilometer at the end,
Right.
depending on. So
Yeah,
whatever percentages for business.
Yeah, everybody operates their business in a different way. For me, I use my fuel receipts so that I can write off the HST amount.
Yeah, so I don't earn enough from either business to
To do that.
do HST at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
The one question is, are children in the family business considered employees? It depends, how old are they?
Yes, that age limit is right there. I believe, if I understand, that you have to be 15.
Oh, I thought it was 12. I thought I read somebody said it was 12.
No, the law
You
has
have to pay
changed
them.
in the last little while, where I believe you had to be 15.
I got gypped for years. My parents have owned their own business for my entire
Yeah.
life. For me, it was child labor. Still to
Oh.
this day.
To answer that question, I do have a client right now locally in Madoc, where her kids are working for her. And they're 13 and 15. And what she does is she does pay them a small little wage. And she writes it just off as a independent wage contractor. So what she does is she has these forms all set up for her kids to put in the number of hours that they're going to be working for her farm. And they just sign it off that they've worked this so many hours, and then she puts it in through as an independent contractor and pays them out that way, so that there's a paper trail and whatnot. So it can be done. The other thing too, you can look at the summer programs, employment programs, for wage subsidy help, to pay for family members. They're a great program. If you're registered with Revenue Canada for HST and payroll deductions, my lord, take advantage of it. Because they will pay 80% of your children's wages to work, which is a huge number. So it's something to look at.
And then the other question is, can you claim your mileage and fuel receipts, or is it just one or the other?
It's one or the other, depending on how big your business is. Okay. If you're not collecting, or if you're under the 30 grand mark, you're gonna be doing kilometers, paying yourself kilometers out of your business. If you're over the 30 grand mark, I suggest that you use the fuel receipts and write off the HST to help you bring down the amount of money owing to Revenue Canada on your HST reports. Okay. The next biggest area that small business owners don't like is reconciling bank statements, credit card statements. How about those debit machines that you guys have in your stores? Okay, or you might have a Square or Stripe that you might use. If you don't reconcile your statements, you don't know at the end of the month, really and truly, what you have in your account. Okay. You need to make sure that you're accounting for all the service charges, interest charges, or even interest that you might have gained on any of your accounts. Some accounts, you know, especially like if you have a savings account, like I have a savings account attached to my business account, so it accrues a little bit of interest. Okay, so you need to make sure you have all that on to reconcile on your statements. Now, the best way to reconcile on honesty is, I'm still a paper girl. I print everything off, even though it comes to me in email. If I paid for something online or an e-transfer, I print those off and I attach them right to the statement that it goes to. Okay, then I can mark off on the statement, okay, yes, I have that, and that matches. Okay, there's all my income and there's all my expenses, and it should all come together and balance out. And I have a neat little system that I've created, which I'm going to show you here in the next little bit, that will help reconcile the bank statements a lot quicker and easier for you as well. But to walk away from your bank statement and not make sure that everything matches, like every receipt should be on those statements, should be attached to those statements. One thing about it is it helps the accountants at the end of the year when they're looking at your bank statements, and if all the receipts are attached and everything is ticked off, they're happy. They're happy because they're not going to charge you very much money, which is going to make you happy. But you need to reconcile. It helps you understand where your cash flow is, how much you have in the bank, and how much you're putting out too. So it makes a big difference. Petty cash. How many here have petty cash on hand in their business?
Nobody?
Oh,
Oh,
we have
no, it's a
one.
hand.
Yeah,
I see a hand.
yeah, one.
I
Yeah.
don't see a need for it in my business.
Okay, and why is that?
I invoice people for the interpreting services that I do. And for my sales and Norwex products, I am doing direct sales, and people are paying me with either e-transfer or buying it through their own credit card, and the company then puts the money into my commission. So I
Right.
don't have a face-to-face, generally speaking.
Okay, so petty cash. Petty cash is a small amount of money that is readily accessible for paying expenses. Okay, so basically, like if you need some office supplies, or if you want to send some flowers out to a client as a thank you, or taking a subcontractor to lunch, or you need some postage, something like that. That's what petty cash is for. Now, for a small business, I recommend $100 to sit in a, if it's in an envelope, it sits in your desk drawer or in your safe at home, but it's cash on hand. So if you have any small expenses that you need to pay for that you don't need to put on a credit card, then that's what it's there for. Okay. And a lot of small business owners don't keep it on hand. And I'm going to recommend to each of you as a small business owner myself, you need to have it. You just never know. something might come along. Like I had a neighbor the other day that came over to me on Sunday. And she said to me, I have a whole bunch of office supplies here that I don't need anymore because I'm retiring. Would you like to buy them? Well, I had petty cash on hand, so I was able to purchase her office supplies. Okay, just a small little incident. That's what it's there for. Okay. It doesn't hurt to have it on hand. Hey, you never know. You might say if your copier goes down, you need a repair technician to come in. You don't have room on your credit card. Or there's not enough money in the bank account to pay the bill, but you might have petty cash to pay the bill. And so I usually try to keep myself, I recommend to start out with $100. For myself, I keep 200 on hand and I just keep it all in small bills and tuck it away. So if you need it, it's there. Okay, I call it the emergency fund, to be honest with you. You kind of really need to have it. The other thing is that a lot of business owners don't think that they
There's a
need.
question.
Oh.
Just raise your hand. Christina?
Yeah, how do you account for it though?
Ah, wow, that's where you, I keep a lovely sheet of paper inside the envelope and I have the amount, the date that I put the amount in there. And every time I use it, I write in on a piece of paper how much I used, and what it was used for. If I
Okay.
have a receipt, I put the receipt in there and I minus it off. And then at the end of the month, I balance it out. And then I input it into my accounting system as petty cash transactions and process it that way. Okay.
So you've spent $98 on office supplies that your neighbor brought.
Yeah,
So now your balance is $2. Where does the $98 come back from?
where does it come back from?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can do it a few ways. I actually take and go down to the bank. When I go to do a bank deposit, I'm still one of those ones that go to see a teller. And I just withdraw the cash out of the account and put it back in, is what I do.
Okay.
Okay. It's that's but it's as simple as way as you can do it. Now, if I get paid by cash and in small amounts, say if I got paid for a small job for $50, I just put it into my petty cash envelope and I record it as cash on hand. That's how I received it in, as cash on hand, which
Okay.
then sits in my petty cash envelope. Okay. One thing I've learned is I don't give my cash back to the bank. I keep it in on hand. Okay. You'll learn that as you grow your businesses.
Well, in today's day and age, everything I do is debit
Yeah,
out of my personal account.
you need to keep your separate. You need to keep your
Yeah.
business and your personal separate. Because otherwise it gets very confusing if you need to, if you ever get audited, because the last thing you don't want is, especially an HST auditor to come in.
Mhm.
And they look at your bank statement and they're looking at your HST reports and they don't match.
Yeah.
The income amount does not match what's
Yeah,
on your
what you're
report
saying.
with your bank statement.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first thing that they look at. How many have been through an HST audit? Nobody? Lucky.
Thankfully, no.
Happened to my parents twice
Yeah,
and they're apparently large. This first time was when the whole dining room table was covered full of paperwork. My parents did it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now they have an accountant.
HST auditor or a payroll auditor is worse than an HST auditor, okay? So HST auditors, yes, they look at your bank statements, they look at your HST reports that you submit, and they're adding the numbers up. And if you're using your personal account for your business, guess what they're going to do? Oh, you owe us so much more money because you have all this extra. You might have deposits in your personal account that say maybe a family member gave you $10,000. Well, guess what? The HST auditor doesn't know that because it doesn't say that on the bank statement when you showed it to them. So they're going, okay, I need to collect the HST on this 10 grand. That's what they do. That's why you need to keep your personal bank account separate from your business. Okay? Always. You don't want those guys coming back and taking what they don't need to take. Okay? It's just a nightmare. Okay? I have gone through this with a few clients already that have come to me because they've gone through this, where they had their business with their personal account because they didn't want to pay the service charges for a business account. Okay, unfortunately, you get to write those service charges off. But, you know, if you get the right account with the right bank, then, you know, they're pretty reasonable, okay? I have an unlimited account, but yes, you have to keep so much money in the account so you don't have to pay anything, but they are out there. And as you grow your business and you get to those magic numbers of having $5,000 stay in your business account on a regular basis, then you don't pay those service charges. TD is really good with that. I believe Royal Bank is too. So you might have to shop around.
Yeah. There's another question up there.
Okay.
It's not a question. It's something I've done that I've found that helped me separate my personal accounts from my business account, because we don't have credit cards for our business. We kind of shied away from getting involved in all of that nonsense. But there are cards out there that you can get, like a prepaid credit card.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a credit card, but you can use it as that, because
Yes.
some banks don't give you a card that can operate like a Visa or MasterCard for your business. They just give you a simple, a plain old debit card that really doesn't work for anything else except to stick it into a machine at some point of sale. So when I have to buy things online, or if I go someplace and I need to use a card that I want to tap, or some little things that make sense to me that the bank doesn't think is important,
Right.
I've now created a card. It's in my name, but the money doesn't come from me. It just has my name on it. It comes from the business, and that's what I use to make those purchases or transactions. But even though it has my name on it, it's not attached to me, except that it belongs to me.
Yeah.
But it goes into the business accounts in terms of
and that's a great way of doing it.
Amounts, right?
Yeah, that's a great way of doing it. There's a lot of business owners that don't have credit cards, and they do go out and buy those prepaid cards and write it off as a business expense and use the card like a credit card. And it's a great way of doing it. Just think of the interest charges that you don't have to pay of having a credit card. And then maybe getting over your head with a regular credit card. It's actually a smart way of doing things. And I have to say kudos to you for doing that. That's a great way of doing it. So, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to carry on to another common area that we seem to make as business owners. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm going to be the first one to admit it, is communications. Okay. Talking to, if you have a business partner or as a sole proprietor, talking to your husband or your significant other about what's going on in your business and getting their feedback. Okay. We sometimes as business owners, we get so busy and we get so absorbed in what we're doing and how are we going to market our products and services? What's on today's agenda? We get so absorbed with everyday business life that we forget to talk to the most important people in our businesses. Okay. And I made this mistake not too long ago. I didn't think it was nothing. I was nominated for a business award. Didn't even think nothing about it, carried on with business life. And then we bought the tickets to go to the evening event and off we went. And of course I won that damn award. My husband was so upset with me because I didn't communicate with him. I didn't tell him that we were up for an award. And he's my partner, not just in my personal life, but in my business. And he was more upset the fact that I didn't tell him about this award that we have been working so hard all these years, and we finally get something to show who we are and what we can do. And so he was a little bit disturbed. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because we have to communicate with them. We live with them, we work with them. But we also got to communicate with our bookkeepers. Okay. You might hand over a box or an envelope full of your receipts to your bookkeeper. And she might go in there and find some things, or and they might find some stuff, and they're going, oh, what's this all about? Oh, she never said nothing to me. She made a payment on this, but it doesn't match anything. Communicating to your bookkeeper and your accountant and your bank and CRA, they are so important. Okay. For an example, if you cannot make your HST payment, if you pay monthly, you're set up to do monthly, and for some reason you can't make that HST payment, you better get on the phone to Revenue Canada and call them. And I'm going to tell you, the ladies down in Prince Edward Island down there are super. Okay. They're really good. If you call it in and say, I've reported this, but I can't make the payment on time, can I get an extension for an extra 10 days? And they'll do that interest-free. Okay. But if you still haven't made that payment within those 10 days that you've said, then they'll start adding the interest. So, but calling them and communicating with them is very important. Your bank, if you've got things happening, or you see transactions that don't look so right on your bank statements, I hope you're calling your bank and talking to them and finding out what the hell is going on, part of my language. And your accountant for your year-end books. Don't talk to your accountant at the end of every year. Talk to your accountant every month or every 6 months, whatever you're comfortable, or every quarter. Okay, because throughout the years, the tax laws change. Okay. There might be something in there that your accountant can find a way to save you some money. Okay. Or if you're wondering if you should go for a financial loan, your accountant might be able to say, something, yes, you can do it. Or, not right now, wait a couple months if you can. Okay. The accountant is a very important person. He or she is very key to your business because they help you understand the roadmap of your financial health. And that is really important. Okay. So communicating, talking to your partner, your husband, your bookkeeper, CRA, your bank, and your accountant. Those should be your top priorities when you need to, in regards to your bookkeeping and your business. Okay. I take it most of you here that are here right now do your own bookkeeping.
No,
Am I correct?
I have help. I couldn't.
Yeah.
No. Me and numbers don't go together.
Okay.
I probably be able to go to the moon faster.
A lot of people who do their own bookkeeping, they absolutely hate it, find it challenging, okay, boring. They can't find the time to do it. It's just not their niche. They don't want to be there, okay. The other thing, when you're doing your own bookkeeping, you actually sometimes miss opportunities for different tax write-offs. And that's where you're going back to communicating with your accountant or your bookkeeper, okay. You might get a receipt, you might have been away somewhere and you bought something for the business, but you're not too sure where you could write it off, or if you can't. So talking to them, will be able to help you from missing these opportunities, okay. A lot of people who are trying to do their own bookkeeping are doing it to save money. Well, they think they're saving money, but in the long run, unfortunately, if you don't understand the whole bookkeeping process, you're not saving money. You're actually wasting your time and you're getting frustrated and you're probably damaging your own health. Okay. And it doesn't hurt to go and hire a bookkeeper. You write the expense off. They can help you and guide you, and hopefully there are good bookkeepers that will show you the right way of how to manage your money, okay? And pay for things and look after yourself as well. And can do your income tax at the same time for the business as well as for yourself personally. So it's good to have someone that can do all that for you because it's less money, okay? For us who need to go to an accountant at the end of the year, we need to get documentations like notice of readers to go to the bank with, things like that. That's important for us, okay, as corporations, not for profits, things like that. Sole proprietors, not so much, but it's still nice to have a piece of paper from an accountant saying that, yes, I made this amount of money. This is what my expenses were. That notice to reader goes a long ways if you want, as a sole proprietor, to go to the bank to go get a loan to buy a piece of equipment or to get a huge lot of inventory, whatever it may be. That's a good way of doing it. Okay. The next thing I want to really briefly talk about is saving money, saving capital. Okay. Basically, a lot of small business owners don't keep cash. They don't keep enough capital for those unknown expenses that might occur. Not only just within their, within their business, okay? For myself, I have a lot of equipment failures happen, okay? If you're using your vehicle for your business, your vehicle fails on the side of the road, and you're wondering how you're going to pay for it if you don't have enough money. So what I always like to say is a lot of accountants, a lot of business owners, they have to look at a cash flow projection. And how many here actually can say, I got so much money set aside for next month if something was to happen in your business? One? Okay. Two?
My boyfriend doesn't.
I don't.
It's a good thing to put away after you've paid yourself and you've paid all your expenses out of your business at the end of the month. I always like to suggest that you take and put $100 away in a savings account for your business. Okay. Why? You don't touch it unless you absolutely need to. But if you want to go and look at applying for grants, 99% of the federal grants require you to have some form of capital, extra money sitting away in an account somewhere that shows proof that you got, say, 30% of what you're looking for. Okay. Otherwise, there's no sense in applying for a federal grant. Provincial grants, some of them are like that, but not all of them. Okay, they don't require you to have capital on hand, but the federals do. Private industries, like for example, TELUS just had a big promotion on grant money that they were giving away. Same with FedEx. Visa right now is doing a huge promo, giving away lots of grant money to women entrepreneurs. Okay, if you haven't seen that yet, get on to visa.com and you can look up, they're giving away money right now. You can apply. They're looking for innovation. What are you doing with your business that's innovating and community minded? So, there's all kinds of different opportunities out there, but most of the time they will ask the question or want proof. How much money do you have for cash flow? Okay. And that is something that all business owners need to have on hand. If you have an emergency on the side of the road with your vehicle and you need to use it, you use it. But if you're looking to get a federal grant and you want to go get some big money to expand your business or whatever it may be, you need to have a source, because that's the first thing they're going to ask for is that source. Okay. Do you have 20% or 30% of what you're asking for? Okay. I see that there's a question.
Yes, what is the website for grants? So there's multiple different websites.
Yeah.
There's many different websites. The two that I would recommend that are probably the best for your overall grant search. There is a provincial grant search link as well as a federal grant search link. Innovation Canada is essentially it just kind of covers. You essentially plug in all, it's gonna ask you a bunch of questions. You plug in all the information and it'll essentially spit out a bunch of information that are pertaining to you, your sector, your business, your area, and whether it's relevant or not, whether it could be grants or funding options or resources that's available or programs that could be available. They may not be physical money, but there could be resources that are available to you.
Yeah.
So both those links actually are available on our website under the resource page, under starting your business or finance, something on our website.
So the innovation funding is through canada.ca, right?
It's called Innovation Canada.
Innovation Canada, okay.
What I can do is I'll make a note and I'll actually add it into my email to all of
Okay.
you, as
Okay.
well as Sherry's information. And the paperwork that she also mentioned as well. So I'll put that all together in the email so you have everything ready to go. Just give me either the end of today or tomorrow to give it to you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Now, the other thing too is, how many here have their insurance through McDougall Insurance?
No
Just like-
insurance, no.
No?
We do through McDougall.
Okay. Ashley, McDougall Insurance just put out, and you have until, I believe, the 10th of November. They are giving away $5,000 in grant money to, I believe, 10 recipients.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
So
What is it called again?
McDougall Insurance. So if you're if you have your insurance policies through McDougall, it's a good one to look at. Okay.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you.
So all these insurance companies, folks, look at all these options for grants. There's a lot of private companies out there that give away, they might be $2,500 or $5,000 or $10,000. But you know something, every little bit helps you grow your business. Okay. And going after the private companies when you're first starting out is the best way to get your grant money. Okay. And then once you get growing your business, then you can look as you're building your capital reserve, then you can look at the federals and the provincials, depending on what your business is and what you're doing. Okay. Brianna, can I ask you to pop in that USB stick?
It is in, you should be able to do it all from right here.
Okay, and would I be able to control it?
Yes, you
Okay.
should. Okay, it should be, where's the? Even with glasses, I still have struggle with this. Okay, so I'm just gonna open it through here.
Can they all
Okay.
see that?
No,
Okay,
I have to
share it.
go in here, yes. Share screen. And go.
Great.
And there you go. So you should be able to navigate.
Perfect.
And I'll hide all the people here
Okay,
for you.
great, thank you.
Then you can see.
Okay, what I have here, earlier I had mentioned about Excel, using Excel as a software to keep track of your bookkeeping, okay? One of the things that I've learned over the years is that when you do go through an audit, you need to have a backup, okay? Even though you're using a QuickBooks and everything, you know, something, you need to have a backup. So what I do here is, this is one of my clients who gave me approval to use his software here. And I do this and I charge $280 to come into your business and I customize an Excel workbook for you, okay? And what this is, now his year starts August 1st, okay? So what we do is I create a workbook. I start, you can see where it says 08 WB. So that's August workbook. So I keep track. This is what we call forensic accounting. Okay. I've been doing this now for a little while. I've been training under a forensic accountant, and I have learned that this is such a great way of doing this. It's double the work, but you know something, it's easy because it's when you go to input into the software, you can do one-line transactions for 90% of this workbook. Okay, instead of doing multiple transactions. So we record the income. And then over here, what we do with this client is he likes to break down every part of his bank statement expenses, okay? So the bank charges right down to his consulting and commission fees, his dividends that he takes out, website development and content that he spends on. And what he does is these expenses are being paid out of his bank account by either him sending an e-transfer or a check payment, one of the two, okay? Now, then we go over here, he has a credit card for his business. And let me see if I can, there we go. So what we do is we break down every one of his expense categories, okay? And what we do here is we keep track of every line of expense, what it's for. And then what happens is you can see all these different expenses. We break down his fuel receipts, right down to his parking, 407, everything, okay? Now, what we do here with this spreadsheet is the month of August. So we have an 08 WB, it's a workbook. So it's like our worksheets. The month actually is all the information has been transferred over. So it's formulated over into a great big summary for the month. Okay. And then we indicate if we have a profit or a loss in here. Okay. But the best, so we do that for those months. So every month is set up like that. And the best part is we do have a quarterly summary set up so we can see all the information then transfers down the line. But the best part is when it comes to HST reporting time, the HST report's already built in.
Ugh.
So this is what I do, okay, for all my clients. And if any one of you,
So do you do this for them or does the client do this? Because I could feel like this could be a hodgepodge of a mess if someone else did it that didn't understand
no,
it.
I do it.
Okay.
I
Just
bill.
wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no, I charge $280, which includes your HST to come in. I sit down with you, I go through your bookkeeping with you to find out what your expenses are, what your income is, and I start breaking down the categories. And then I come home and I put all this together and I build you an Excel workbook that's fully formulated, because what you're gonna find out every quarter has the HST report. But the best part is
Ashley Stewart said, I need this in my life.
the year-end summary.
Oh, that's amazing.
So you can see all the numbers already started. Okay, and it builds up the whole year end and it shows the income for every month and all the expenses from the bank statement right down to the credit card statement. When I finish with this gentleman's books at the end of the year, I automatically just have to email this to his accountant and his year-end books are done with inside in a month. Okay,
Do you do his bookkeeping for him, or is this something that he punches in himself?
I
So
do
you
it for him.
design it? Oh, you design it and do
Yeah,
it.
I do it. He's been a longtime client of mine.
Okay.
I've been doing his books for years and years. And what I did is, his is different, a little bit different, but
Is it because of the nature of his business?
it is. And
He's a
that's why,
consultant mostly? or what
yes,
does
he
do?
is. He's like
Okay.
me. He provides consulting services.
Okay.
And so his is different. Okay. But every business owner is different.
Mhm.
Okay, everybody has different categories, chart of accounts, okay? And we take those and I break them down and I put them in here so that for those who hate bookkeeping, okay? This makes your life easier. Okay, I'm just gonna stop sharing. You know, for those who don't understand bookkeeping, but yet you need to do something every day. Okay, you need to record your numbers every day. So for myself, for my own business, I keep it, I open up Excel every morning and I just minimize it. And then when I go to get a receipt in, or I've done a deposit or something, I record it automatically. And then it just gets done. Okay, I do this for the Madoc Chamber. Okay, I built this for the Madoc Chamber as well. And the girls in there just keep track. And then they update it and every day on a daily basis. And for those who really don't understand bookkeeping, this is a great way. It's easy, it's simple. I just come in, I sit down and talk to you, and we create it. And I pass it on to you and teach you how to use it, and away you go. You know, it's nice and slick and it's easy to do. I seen that there was a question.
Yes, I kind of have answered for you.
Oh.
She, kind of similar question that I had. So once the Excel is built, we fill in the expenses, or do you?
No,
I said that
no.
You do it.
I can do it if
And
you
then-
want to hire me, and you know, I do have a small rate. But this is a one-time cost to build this sheet, and if you want to do it on your own, I can gladly train you and teach you how to do it. You know, I build it and then I show you how to input it, all your monthly stuff, or if you want to hire me or another bookkeeper. But this Excel spreadsheet, for those who don't understand bookkeeping, this makes it simple. Okay, I have 8 different templates already designed and ready to go. But what it is, every business is different, so it just depends on where I have to fit it in and link everything. And that's where that comes in. Okay.
Do we have any questions or any more questions?
Yeah, because I'm done. I know bookkeeping is boring. It's a boring topic.
This was really good. I had to say this is one of the most exciting bookkeeping workshop that I've done.
Well, you have to interact with the audience. I just can't stand up here and talk. I need to hear what people have to say in their questions, because then I can't give them the information that they're looking for. I see that there's one more.
Yes, she asked what your bookkeeping fee is.
Well, it depends
I was
on the
gonna say,
size of the
sorry, yes,
business.
Yes.
Yeah, I normally start at $99 a month for a home-based business. And then I go up to $1,000 depending on the number of hours I have to do a month for your bookkeeping. So
I'm not sure. Time to start that if I'm starting, like I'm opening a food truck in the spring, but I've already started to save everything on the side. When is a good time to like start it? Honey, now is a good time.
Yeah.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say now.
yeah,
Have it all, so absolutely.
yeah.
Ask
You
as many
think
questions,
about-
just essentially keep coming. I'm glad you came. I remember who you were. I'm so glad you came. And I know you talked several times about CRA. I am doing a CRA workshop specifically towards sole proprietors. So essentially, if you're a sole proprietor, we are doing a CRA workshop.
I'd be in there. Yeah, thank you. I mean, you would give us CRA.
I'll add that to.
If there's anyone that's online that wants to reach out to me at any time, you have any questions, feel free. If you can't get me at home, you might get me at the Madoc Chamber. I kind of live down there to help the girls down there because we're busy, but you know, you can find me anywhere. My cell phone is probably the best to reach out to me by text message, to be honest with you. Sometimes I tend to have a tendency, if I'm really busy, if I'm at home and the house phone is going and the cell phone's going, I'll just let them both go to voicemail, unless I'm on one or the other. So better off to reach me by text message or email. So.
And you'll receive her contact information. So if you want to reach out to her, you're more than
Do you
welcome.
have a card on you?
I have
For someone
business
else.
cards, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Great.